For all these years, EV has been around. Almost 8 years, 9 years back, we started introducing EV. EV certainly is there, but not as much as we would have liked to. Let me therefore sort of say that what will happen in the next 5 years. Next slide, please. The recent crisis that we had in the Middle East, with the oil price going up and are not able to import enough oil, should have convinced anyone that we can't continue to import 85% of oil and run our country. We need alternative to fossil fuel. Now, fortunately, this is not just a requirement, but finally the government also realized that they need to do that. And in the last 3 months or so, government has sort of said, let's go full-fledged. Questions, of course, that when a new technology is introduced, you have to ask, is the technology available? Of course, EV is available. That part we have gone past. The second question that one will ask, is it economically viable? It was not so till recently. It is becoming increasingly economically viable, and today, in most segments, it's already economically viable. Then what is the next third important thing? The change management. You need to really make the change, whatever you need to do. I've been driving a petrol vehicle. You are asking me to change. What all will I require? I could have gone to a petrol pump and got the petrol. This time I have to do something else. Is the charging infrastructure ready? Will it be available? How long will it take? Petrol, it takes 5 minutes. All these questions will have to be answered. It has to be made easy. And that's what's called change management. And the change management, while it has been going on, it will accelerate from now. Next slide. The second problem that is driving this, for example, is our air quality. And I'm specifically taking the example of Delhi, but in other cities, not much better. The air quality index last year touched 460. You know, below, above, about 100, you virtually are hurting. At 150, you have a long problem. Even your children born are going to suffer. And we are hitting 460. This is not acceptable. And the major cause, whether we like it or not, is EV. And this problem of, in all Indian cities, there was a recent report, and it was actually read by the finance minister, that 1.7 million people have been estimated to die every year due to bad air. And auto pollution is a primary cause. It varies. In cities like Delhi, it will be 35%. Some other places, it may be higher. Some other places, it will be 30%. So, whether we like or not, we need to move away from this pollution completely. And the only answer is electric vehicle, because the electric vehicle has no emissions. That's what one has to worry about. Next slide, please. The other reason is, of course, that so far petrol, we're using IC engine. Now, IC engine is not energy efficient. I don't know whether you people know that when I use electric vehicle to drive the same distance, same vehicle, I consume 4 times less energy than in petrol. Petrol wastes about 75% of the energy. That's one thing that people don't understand. Less energy efficient, and also, of course, contributes very significantly to global warming. Efficiency of petrol vehicle is 25%, 23%, 24%, whereas for electric vehicle is closer to 80-90%. Of course, while you are decelerating or climbing down, you can recover part of the energy, and that's called regeneration. That is, of course, in electric vehicle it is given, done. You are also doing it partly in the petrol vehicles. Hybrids, by and large, have come from that. But it only saves about 5-10%. The most of the energy is really
gone. Next slide, please. The other thing is that electric vehicle in India is an opportunity. In world, change is taking place. China, almost 70% of the vehicles are electric now. Okay? It's a matter of few years where almost 100%. Same thing is happening in Europe, increasing electric vehicles. So for India to become a player and even export, we have some export market. If we continue to stick to ICE engine, petrol engine, we are going to lose it. So India cannot afford to follow watching from sideline. Suddenly, China was not a player in auto at all. And China has become the major player. All the people who have stuck to petrol vehicles are losing. We will risk losing not only domestic markets, but also an opportunity that just like China, we could become a global player. Next slide. Electrifying transport, not merely an environmental responsibility, but it's a gateway for global manufacturing hubs. India has the capability, it has the design capabilities. It has to just decide to go all out. Next slide, please. So where is the problem? If this is so, where is the problem? It's very clear that we need to move and we need to accelerate. Next slide, please. If you remember our friend in US, our Prime Minister's friend, he's also titled EV basher in chief because he was dead against EV. I don't know that he still is. They say costs too much and doesn't go far. Actually, both his statements are right. This was true. The electric vehicles did cost a lot. That had changed. Without that change, it won't happen. Doesn't go far, also a change. We'll look at it. The second statement that Trump has made, grid is anyway dirty. Even if it change ICE engine to electric vehicle, it is the coal and the oil that is gas that is giving you the electricity. So, an EV will therefore consume only coal-based electricity. He says charging infrastructure is not there. True. All this is true. Battery and solar panels will also create waste. All these statements are true. But this was true. In any change, at the early period, it appears to be so. Next slide. We need to move as rapidly as possible for three things, therefore. While we get electricity 100% from renewable energy. We are already moving very rapidly. If you see, almost all the new additions are solar and wind. And now solar and wind with battery. We need to move towards 100% green electricity. It will take time, but I think over the next 10-15% years, we'll probably get 70 to 80%. Then we need to move automobile sector completely to electric. And the third thing, we have to enhance energy efficiency, which electrification will help, and then also recycle everything. So what I'm saying, electric vehicle in itself cannot be a standalone program. It has to be a program along with renewable energy, electricity. Number two, along with recycling. Next slide. And all this is happening. Sometimes people criticize, and this is a report that was done by us sometime back, about a year back, that in the current situation, if I compare petrol vehicle, electric vehicle, it is not that good. But so we did this number. If there were zero renewables, and that's not true. If there is a zero renewable, yes, both of them will consume more or less give same kind of things. But if it is 100% renewables, if you see virtually electric petrol vehicles will continue to give very, very high emission. And electric vehicles virtually, including manufacturing, including mining, is not going to give you significant in this thing. And what is already happening is that we are already somewhere in between. And we are fairly rapidly moving in this direction. And as we start recovering everything, it is going to become green. Next slide. What do we need? So, since the Delhi air quality became very, very poor and situation became unbearable, last year around December, Supreme Court, along with the Center for Air Quality Management, CAQM, is a body in Delhi. They decided to set up a committee with myself as the chairman to somehow figure out a way to fix this air quality and move to the 100% electrification. And when we started looking at it, we said that one of the biggest problems is charging infrastructure. Why is the charging infrastructure? I have a multi-story building. I'm living there. I have a parking spot also. There's no charger there. And to put charger, I can buy a charger. It comes along with the vehicle. I want to put it. I have to take permission from the association. I have to get permission from this and that. Go to the electricity board. All these things become impossible. And there are many, many cases where people are denied permission. And without charging infrastructure, if I put a charger overnight, it will charge. If I have a charger at office, it can charge while the vehicles are standing. Together, 95% of my requirement will be taken care of. But are you allowed to? So we are working on creating a right to charge bill. We'll initially do it in Delhi, in the Delhi Assembly, and later on as a national bill. Right to charge bill. Essentially saying you have a legal right to install a charger. Electricity authorities have to give you electricity. The building owners cannot say no to you, and that's what we'll do. Next slide. And the complete mismatch that Residential Welfare Association, Cooperative Housing Society, landlords and facility managers who kind of create bottlenecks, removing all those bottlenecks is what we are looking at in terms of right to charge bill. Next slide. So, you know, what kind of chargers are required? I'm sure there are many, many chargers. But 3, 7, and 11 kilowatt chargers mostly will do. In 11 kilowatt chargers, 3 to 4 hours, 3 hours, battery will be full. Others may take a little longer time. Overnight, everything will be full. And they are very inexpensive. And they do not, they can easily, they come along with the vehicle, you can actually install them. These are personal chargers. Now, people sort of say, no, you are going to put a charger. What about safety? What about the load on the electricity grid? No, 3, 7, 11 is not very high. In fact, air conditioners very often use pumps, use this kind of power. So essentially, we are saying these are personal charger. For personal charger, you should have a very, very minimal permission. For the fast chargers, yes, 22 kilowatt and 60 kilowatt, 120 kilowatt fast chargers, yes, it will be more like commercial chargers, and their permissions, etc., can be done. There all the safety standards, etc., is to be met. Next slide, please. So we are going to move to right to charge. The next question that is often asked, but you know, we agree that electric vehicles will not require oil to be imported. But are we not importing all the subsystems? So we start examining that also. Next slide. Battery. There is a battery cell and there is a battery pack. Now, first thing is, if you get a cell making pack 5 years, 7 years back, yes, we did not know. Today, there are enough people in India, hundreds of companies, which knows how to make high quality pack. That problem is solved. Not just for electric vehicles, but even for the grid. Huge number of big batteries are being installed. Next. Battery cell. Yes, we are importing all the cells. Till about year and a half back, almost all cells were getting imported, and 95% from China, like most other things. Exide set up a plant at the end of last year, 12 gigawatt power plant in Bangalore. Excellent plant. If you happen to go get an opportunity, you should visit that. Of course, it is with Chinese know-how. Ola, Reliance, Waaree, Tatas, Amar Raja, and several other are setting up plants. Already Ola plant is on. Cell technology is from China, but it's very clear that that's what you have to do today, we will get that. But the R&D is then required for the next gen cell, which will be available 3 years to 5 years down the line. Can we actually make those cells? And there is enough R&D that's going on. Next slide. Materials. The next question is, what about materials? Are we going to import all the materials? No. What are the other thing that is happening is a lot of effort, a lot of startups that I incubate. I think probably most of you know that we had done 350 startups. I had actually set it up at Research Park and here in IIT Madras. And today the value of them is 70,000 crore, those 350 startups, Ather being one of them. So today we have large number of startups, particularly in ITEL, which are working on indigenizing all the materials. We don't have to import materials. It's a matter of 2 to 3 years, 5 years. The next very important is battery recycling. You take the battery, recover all the basic materials, nickel, cadmium, everything that you require, lithium, and that is already happening. And increasingly new plants are being set up for the battery recovery. Next slide. So we have to, of course, accelerate these timelines, also strengthen R&D. Next slide. What about the motors? Now, till about 2-3 years back, motors were being imported, but the permanent magnet synchronous motors have more or less captured the electric vehicle market. And today they are getting designed in India and designed and manufactured. We are no longer importing. Of course, there is one component in those motors, only about 10% of the cost, rare earth element. That is still controlled by China. And there is concern worldwide about that. Next slide. Even there, two things have started happening. One is recycle the old motors, recover the rare earth and reuse. And second is alternative to PMSM. PMSM requires rare earth. But there are motors like switch reluctance, axial flux. They are today about 10% bigger in size and 10% more costly. But I think that's where the work is going on. For a car, for an auto, it probably does not matter too much. For a two-wheeler, it will matter. And work is going on figuring out how to do things better. Next slide. DC-DC converters. They are being made in India already. We need only volume manufacturing. Chargers and charging infrastructure. I'm sure you will see enough of chargers being made in India. Unfortunately, many of them just importing from China and assembling them. That doesn't do value add. So we need policies to enforce Indian design, display panels and infotainment. Again, today that is common between ICE vehicles and petrol vehicles, and it is getting in India. The software and user experience. This is where we would have thought that we would be the leader. Unfortunately, we are not. We are still taking things from outside and just doing a little bit of playing. This is where we need to spend money, put in R&D and make a difference. Next slide, please. EV is already taking off. Two-wheelers, today it will cost you the same to buy a two-wheeler electric vehicle as opposed to two-wheeler petrol vehicles. An electric vehicle you won't have to pay for petrol. That's a major cost saving. Next, four-wheelers, we are getting very close, more or less even. Still about 5 to 10% higher. Okay? But, battery prices have fallen down by 50% over the last 1 year. That price doesn't show up yet in the cars. It will start showing up in the next 6 months. And you will see that they become comparison. Next, please. Electric trucks up to 300 kilometers. Again, same as cars. We are just getting there. Next slide. Next slide. So, we, however, will continue to need for next 3 to 5 years some tax concessions to discourage petrol vehicles. And we'll need support for retrofitting. Very important. If you have bought a two-wheeler, let's say 5 years back, and you want to move to electric vehicle, you don't want to dump your vehicle and buy a new vehicle. So we are working on retrofitting. Can I, at half the cost of the new vehicle, can I retrofit? And you will save, petrol will not be required. So it will really start working very well. Next slide, please. As I told you, right to charge bill is very important. Next, please. However, before I end, We would say the electric vehicles are very critical, but will only handle one part of the problem. In Chennai, if you are going from home to office, let's assume your office is about 12 kilometers, go around 9:30, it takes an hour, hour 15 minutes. Hour 15 minutes going, hour 15 minutes coming. 2.5 hours or more. Whether you drive a two-wheeler, four-wheeler, on buses, etc., or even if you take metro, you have to change metro, etc., it will take you almost as much time. In Bangalore, it is worst. Pune, it is worse. Ahmedabad, similar. Bombay, similar. Delhi, it is worse. Is this our lives? So this converting to electric vehicle is not enough. And next slide, please. And that's where we need next something different. We are working at ITIL Foundation. We are today working on a very different transport system for cities, urban India. We are saying you can live anywhere, you can go to, your office can be anywhere. As long as the distance is 15 kilometers, it will take you only 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And it will be fully green. In that sense, electric. Highly energy efficient. It is buildable in existing cities. It will be affordable, be able to handle peak traffic and comfortable. That system today, next slide, we are, press again please. This slide is an old slide, but shows what we had done almost a year back. We have actually conceptually proven autonomous pods actually taking you from anywhere to anywhere. We have gone significantly ahead. I am not showing you the video now, but today in OMR, we have taken a 12-acre land, and where on the ground we are running the real full-size vehicle. Another 1 or 2 months, we'll start talking about it. We are then going to go to Sri City at the end of the year, and we are going to build elevated pathway to drive something like this. And there are now cities which are saying, we want to install something like this. 20 minutes, very different concept. We are going to use small lanes in which practically, if you try to drive two vehicles, it becomes impossible. 20 feet, 25 feet, 30 feet. There are enough small lanes in the city. We will build at height. We'll build it over your lamppost. We'll strengthen the lamppost, and the cantilever will put a platform in which such vehicles can travel. Next slide. But what about, this is the problem that will be city congestion. What about the goods vehicle? Today, most of us are using trucks. Chennai to Chandigarh, it takes 5 days to carry goods. As our GDP grows up and we become 5 times more goods has to be carried, how is that going to be carried? And that's where another similar kind of concept will require. Next, please. Which will take you goods from one city to anywhere else in India in 24 hours. We have the concept ready. Once our city problem gets done, we are going to focus on that. Next slide, please. My final slide. Next. Today, moving to electric vehicle is the highest priority. So next 5 years, you will see the change. I'll say about 70 to 80% vehicles will move. At least new vehicle. In Delhi, in that policy, we are saying after 2030, you can't buy petrol vehicles. That's the kind of thing that we are talking about. And vehicle change will take place. And we'll, of course, have to do with renewable energy and recycling that will have to come. Next, last. So we need to encourage solutions like hashtag to overcome congestion. And for long distance transport, we need to think differently. I want to end by sort of saying that, one, we can adopt electric vehicle. I'm very happy that we are doing that. The only thing is that this did not come from India. We are adopting this. The kind of solutions that I'm talking about, whether it is a hashtag city for removing congestion or long distance transport, we need to think of our own solution. We cannot depend on anyone else to just keep on telling us solution and be following. If you want India to be the leader, and today, over last 1 year, we have seen that we no longer can depend on US to be our friend. Huh? We have to stand on our own. We have 1.4 million people. We are very good. We have to just decide that we are going to win and we have to come up with our own solution. Thank you very much.
Any quick question? Yes.
Small power charging units like 7 kilowatt, when we put it and we hook up in many quantities, it could probably have a problem with the infrastructure, that is transmission and distribution.
I understand. What you're saying is the power infrastructure good enough to carry this extra load. I think we are adding power today only 50% of the power generated, 55% of the power generated is actually used. India's capacity is to generate 1.5467 times more power. Already that capacity exists and capacity is getting added. We have to change the infrastructure. So we are working with power department to do that. Now, next.
Namaste, sir. Sir, there are millions of diesel engines out
Millions
there.
of?
Diesel engines out there on the road now. I mean, transportation related, I'm asking. So, are we working on the electric kits for these diesel engines?
So, we are working for the two-wheelers and three-wheelers. Because two-wheelers and three-wheelers, retrofitting is very much possible. Four-wheelers, we are not 100% certain because there are safety issue and security issue, and we have to probably look at. But two-wheelers and three-wheelers, we are working, and that, by the way, will work very well in a franchise concept.
Dr. Ashok, R.S. Mani here. You told about the Delhi bill. Has it been passed?
The Delhi bill is not passed, but the bill is now available. It's already floated. There are comments coming. Of course, there is opposition from those who make petrol vehicles. The opposition will happen. That bill will get passed.
When can we expect it?
Few months, next few months. And the CAQM order, which is the order after which everybody has to pass, we are also expecting by end of next year, by the time November, December, once again air quality goes bad, immediately things will be accepted. Last question.
Dr. Ashok, your presentation was good, but a lot of EV transition depends on imported technology and components. So, as a premier organization like IIT, how can we mobilize all our R&D and resources to speed it up?
I think you missed. I had talked about each component: cell, battery pack, motor, controller, the work on charger, DC-DC converter, every piece, the front panel, every piece is getting Indianized.
Right. So how can are we doing enough to speed it up? That's the...
I think as the demand picks up for the vehicles, you will see all this. I think next 5 years are very crucial. Today is 2026. If you have a meeting in 2031, almost 90%, 80% will be coming in electric vehicles. Thank you.